It's Friday, it's the end of the week, and this is a new segment where I'll be rounding up everything that's been going on PhoneDog.com and on our network sites, today's iPhone, Timo News, and Android and Me, and just picking out all the most interesting and discussion-worthy topics. First up is the OnePlus One. Who doesn't know about this now? It's an awesome-looking phone, been released by a Chinese manufacturer in partnership with Cyanogen, who are famous for making the Cyanogen mod. Basically an Android experience that's kind of better than Android, from what I've heard. Not used it myself, but it looks awesome, and the device looks incredible. It's going to be available very soon, and has a 5.5-inch Full HD display with 178-degree viewing angles. Very clear, very sharp, very good quality, and it is powered by a quad-core Snapdragon 801 series processor with 3GB of RAM and 2.5 GHz of power. The 16GB version, which comes in silk white, is going to cost $299, and there's no 32GB version. Instead, there's a 64GB version for $50 more than the 16GB version. But the 64GB version is black only. Now, we haven't got a specific release date, but we do know that from today, Friday the 25th of April, if you have registered to receive updates and such, then you are invited to take part in an opportunity to win one of the first 100 phones released. All you have to do is send a video to YouTube where you show yourself smashing up your current phone. I might do it, I just haven't decided which phone to use yet. You remember the days quite a few years ago now where it used to be cool to have your phone covered head to toe in Swarovski crystals. Well, Samsung thinks it's about time that we revive that trend, and it has announced a new all-crystal covered version of the Samsung Galaxy S5. Thankfully, it looks like it's only going to be available in Korea, but it'll be available from next month, May. It's essentially a Galaxy S5 with Swarovski crystals covered all the way across the back. I guess the saddest news of the week, if we put on a slightly somber tone, is that Nokia is officially no more. Microsoft announced that the deal has been finalized. And instead, the hardware that comes out of Microsoft is going to come out with a Microsoft logo on it and not a Nokia logo. Which is probably one of the saddest things. Most sad. I don't think there's a version of sad that quite gets to grips with how sad this situation is. In fact, to truly epitomise how sad this is, I think I might just have to play Snake 2 on my Nokia 3310 for hours and hours while I cry into a cup of tea. Why, Nokia, why? On the plus side, at least I know now which phone I'm going to smash up so that I can get one of those OnePlus One things. In June this year, Apple will be hosting its annual Worldwide Developer Conference, or WWDC for short. In that conference, obviously developers will get a chance to play with some new tools for creating great apps for iOS, but more importantly for us, iOS 8 will be announced. And Adam over at today's iPhone.com put a great list together of the things that he would love to see in iOS 8. In his list were some of the things we've always wanted, things like customizing menus and settings and having apps set as defaults that aren't necessarily stock apps, and apps that kind of talk to each other. So you're not just limited to sharing in the ones that Apple's approved, but you can share through any app that's been enabled through an API. But there's lots of cool stuff. You should definitely check out that list. It's an entertaining read. And last but not least, you can't imagine the smile on my face when I read news and headlines that Google was working on Lego. Turns out I misread the headline. They're not working on Lego. It's just a project named Lego. The new search page is going to be much smoother, much more interactive. You'll be able to scroll through images across the top, and the way it scrolls actually up and down will be smoother. And it looks a lot like Google Now. You know, when you open Google Now on your phone and everything's kind of card-based and it's smooth and it just flows and it looks nice, that's essentially what Google Lego project is. It's not actually Lego. I'm sorry about that. But that's it for this week. Join me again next Friday when I'll be rounding up next week's top stories. If you have any questions in the meantime, or you want to just shout at me or complain, either that I look like Seth Rogen or sound like Austin Powers, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below, or fight with me on Twitter. I'm at PhoneDog_Cam. I will see you again soon.